From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday led the 2024 Government-Owned or Controlled Corporations or GOCC Day at the Philippine International Convention Center or PICC in Pasay City. Among the highlights of the event is the awarding of certificates of acknowledgement of dividend remittances to the 47 GOCCs that have submitted their dividends to the National Treasury as of May 3rd. In the previous year, the Department of Finance or DOF announced a total of 99.98 billion pesos in dividends remitted by 51 GOCCs. This was 46% higher compared to the 68.34 billion pesos collected in 2022. Republic Act or RA number 7656 or the Dividends Law of 1994 mandates all GOCCs to declare and remit at least 50% of their annual net earnings to the national government. This ensures that a portion of the earnings from these corporations is used to fund government projects in infrastructure, as well as various social and economic programs of the government. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
I am pleased to be here today to celebrate the invaluable role of government-owned or controlled corporations in the advancement of our society through this year's GOCC's Day. First, let me greet the organizer of this event, the Department of Finance, a happy 127th founding anniversary. Thank you for hosting this annual event. It goes beyond merely recognizing the GOCCs for their contributions to the nation's coffers. This occasion also encourages greater performance and excellence across government corporations that hold a major stake in our country's progress. With that said, let me acknowledge the GOCCs represented here by their heads and their board members. The passion, the drive, and energy that you have demonstrated in your respective institutions have contributed significantly to the growth and prosperity of our people and of our economy. But it is wrong to view GOCCs as mere revenue generators. The truth is, GOCCs are chartered to be service providers first and profit centers afterwards. As such, your value and worth are not to be found in the dividends alone that you remit to the Treasury, but on the services that you render to people. It will also be incorrect to relegate GOCCs to the rear column of government, behind national and local governments. For the truth is, whether financially autonomous or subsidy dependent, GOCCs are public trusts designed to be government frontline institutions. So today, let me thank you for the services that you have rendered and for the dividends that you have remitted. Last year, dividends remitted reached an unprecedented 100 billion pesos. I am sure that we will surpass it this year. And if the amount remitted as of May 3, which is 88.56 billion pesos, is any indication, then we are on track to meet that goal. Since those dividends also come from the people, let me assure you that they will be carefully spent like the precious taxes that come from the sweat of their brow. It will be plowed back to them through projects and programs that will improve their lives today and also create a better tomorrow for our children. It will be invested back to growth-inducing activities that create jobs and harness opportunities. In the end, these dividends will yield more dividends, unleashing a virtuous cycle that lifts up those we serve to a higher standard of living. To put it in the proper perspective, the dividends are not being remitted to the government to be stored, but to help the people. For after all, they are the GOCC's true stakeholders. Our call for higher earnings is a call for efficiency, and this goes especially to the agencies that deal directly with the people. This should not be taken as a license to hike the fees that they pay. The established canon in setting fees and charges that common citizens pay remain inviolable, that they should only be enough to recoup the expenses made in rendering these services and should not be a pretext for profit. To the GOCCs, who by their mandate precludes them from remitting incomes to the public coffers, you can actually help the people by reducing the taxpayer subsidy that you require. But to the GOCCs who render essential services, the government's commitment to fund your operational needs remains steadfast and firm. Whatever the function is, I trust that you will all be practitioners of sound corporate governance. Let every unit in the GOCC sector stand as paragons of dedication to service and innovation, to be adept to changes and adaptable to new developments. To the men and women of the Department of Finance, I trust that you will remain immovable and judicious in promoting the fiscal health and accountability of our GOCCs. Down the road, where your building stands, is the kilometer zero marker in front of the statue of our national hero in Luneta. That is, however, for our road network. But insofar as our country's economic roadmap is concerned, the kilometer zero are your agencies, because projects can only move forward if you have found the revenues for them. Plans remain as dreams. Blueprints cannot move from being just wish lists. Rhetoric can never be a reality unless we marshal the resources. And that holds true for the GOCCs here. Your remittances will not only allow our economy to recover, but it would help cut our borrowings and lessen the pressure to inflict higher taxes on the people. I look forward to seeing a concerted, all-inclusive, whole-of-government approach in our development efforts, one that is true to our vision of the bagong Pilipinas that we aspire for our people. Again, I thank each of you for the desire and the endeavor to serve our beloved country.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Aside from captivating islands and beaches, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. honored the rich diversity of the Philippines' culinary scene and cited it as a potential driver of tourism. In his latest vlog shared on social media on Sunday, the president celebrated the rich flavors of Filipino culture which distinguish the country from anywhere in the world. The chief executive highlighted regional diversity of Filipino cuisine, which he said provides a flavorful journey for visitors and helps establish a resilient culinary legacy. President Marcos shared his favorite Ilocano dishes such as dinardaraan or the Ilocano dinuguan or pork blood stew, bagnet or deep-fried pork belly, empanada, fried turnover with fillings, and kilawin, sliced boiled meat or seafood with lemon and vinegar, usually eaten as appetizer. Likewise, the chief executive urged Filipinos to promote the country's rich culture and culinary heritage, even as he underscored the relevant contribution of local micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, or MSMEs, in helping drive the economy. Let's listen to the latest vlog of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Grabe ang init ng panahon nitong nakaraang linggo. Pumapalo na sa higit 42 degrees ang mga temperature sa iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa. Kaya naman, malamang ay mga kababayan natin ay nagpapalamig sa kanilang mga bahay. O kaya naman, nagbo-mall para may libreng aircon. Kakambal ng mga pagpapalamig ay pag food trip. Masarap yung may iniinom ka na malamig at saka kumakain ng masarap. Nakikita nyo siguro sa mga food trip ko last week sa Jollibee. Sino bang Pilipino ang hindi gusto ang Jollibee? Pero alam nyo, bukod dyan, ay tanyag na tanyag ang ating mga pagkain sa buong mundo. Ang panlasang Pinoy. Usapang pagkain naman muna tayo. Madalas ay nakikita natin sa social media ang mga reaction videos ng mga foreigners sa iba't ibang bansa towards Filipino food. Mga chicheria, mga ulam natin, mga merienda, mga dessert, tanyag at talagang maipagmamalaki natin sa buong mundo ang mga pagkain natin dahil iba talaga ang flavor ng Filipino cuisine. Ayon sa online site na Taste Atlas, ang Pilipinas ay kabilang na sa iba't ibang listahan na top 100. Number 100 naman ang Makati sa best food cities and regions in the world. Number 97 ang ating sinigang na best dishes. Number 93 ang lumpiang Shanghai sa street food. At number 33 ang Pinoy cooking sa best cuisines in the world. Ang feeling ko, pagka nalaman pa yung mga iba natin yung mga regional cuisine, tataas pa yan. Ang dami natin hindi pa nila nakita. At talagang kahit na yung ibang Pilipino, hindi nila nakikita. Ang daming talagang masarap na pagkain din sa Pilipino. Gastronomic tourism, kung tawagin, dahil nagdadala talaga ng turista ang pagkain. Food does not just feed the stomach. Ika nga, it also feeds the soul. Mahilig tayo sa ganun eh. They're very hospitable. Ano yung pinakamagandang regalo mo sa bisita? Masarap na pagkain. Pag-alis nga, yung hindi nakain, ibabalot ko pa para meron silang baon. Yun ang ugali ng Pilipino. That's why the cuisine and the hospitality has become such an important part of our life. Siguro, talagang yung hinahanap ko kuminsan, balot. Bata pa ako, natuto na ako kumain ng balot. Hindi ako kumakain ng chichirya. Marami ko minsan mga dinadalang mga snack. Ang hindi mamahindihan, lalo prutas. Yung prutas, kahit nang kailan, bigay mo sa akin, kakainin ko lahat. Maraming masarap sa Ilocos eh. Anhin ko na lang. Yung mga palagay ko mga dishes, may karapatan na ba bigyan ng Michelin star. Siyempre, yung aming dinardaraan, yun, napakasarap nun. Siguro nakilala na ng lahat ng Pilipino yung bagnet namin na galing sa Patak. Nandyan din yung empanada, tapos yung Miki, yung inihaw na baka, tapos yung mga isda. Yung iba, mahilig sa puro mga kilawin. Masyadong marami. I'm sure may magrereklamo sa akin na hindi ko nasama yung kanilang pagkain. Pero ang daming masarap na pagkain. Basta't magandang presentation, maayos ang pagkagawa. Pwede mag-Michelin star. Kami ni Lisa, basta comfort food, pagka kami na lang dalawa. Magpipizza kami, Pinoy food, sashimi kami. Basta yung comfort food, tawag namin. Hindi ko makalimutan, nung nasa London sila, darating kami doon, punta sila sa amin. Siyempre, laging pagdating niyan, malamig, kadalasan umuulan, kaya basa ka, tinalamig ka. Naku, hinahanap talaga nila dalawa, sinigang na baboy at saka yung puchero para magpainit ng katawan. I think it's still their favorite. It's their comfort food now. Yung mga go-to yan. Yan surefire yun. Pagpapakain mo sa mga anak ko yan. No fail. Ang talent ko sa pagluluto, hindi sa isang klaseng cuisine. Ang talent ko na sa pagluluto, kaya kong gumawa ng pagkain kahit na anong laman ng refrigerator at saka anong mga dilatang naiwan. Kasi nasanay ako napakatagal, nag-iisa ako. Bachelor ako na matagal. Bachelor ko, hindi ka masyadong sa shopping, hindi mo naiisip yung pag uwi mo, galing eskwela o galing sa trabaho, kung ano meron. Isa pang talent ko sa pagluluto, isa lang ang gagamitin kong kalan. As kung minsan, isang plato lang. Kung minsan, hindi na nga plato, doon na nga sa lutuan. Dumuha kayo. Ay, tatawa kayo. Alam yung mga bachelor na matagal, alam nila lahat yan. Lalo na yung tumira sa abroad, na wala kang cook, wala kang katulong, di ba? May matututo ko talaga dyan. Isa lang ang huhugasan mong kalan at isa lang ang huhugasan mong plato. Mayaman ang kultura natin pagdating sa pagkain at pagluluto. Gamit ng social media, lalo pa natin malalaman na may mga pagkain dapat dayuhin at subukan. Kaya sa mga foodie na kagaya ko, i-comment ninyo kung ano ang food trip natin dapat sa susunod na linggo. May nagba-viral ngayon ng mga parisan. Mukhang masasarap. Tignan nga natin at masubukan natin. Patuloy po natin suportahan ang ating mga lokal na pagkain at produkto. Suportahan natin ang ating mga MSMEs sa mga OFW. Ipasubok pa natin ang pagkain Pilipino sa ating mga kaibigan na Yuhan. Tapos ay imbitahin na natin dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang pagkain at panlasang Pilipino.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has designated Tupi Information Technology or IT Park in South Cotabato Province as a special economic zone to attract foreign investors and spur economic growth in the province. Proclamation number 530, signed by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin on May 2nd on behalf of the President, creates and designates Tupi IT Park as a special economic zone following the recommendation of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA. The designation is also pursuant to the powers authorizing the President under Republic Act or RA number 7916 or the Special Economic Zone Act of 1995. Proclamation number 530 covers 15,000 square meters of land located along the National Highway in Poblacion Village, Tupi Town.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered the creation of an interagency coordinating council to consolidate the master list of all government lands to ensure optimal use. In his administrative order or AO number 21, signed by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin on April 30th, the President said, one of the key strategies identified in the Philippine Development Plan or PDP 2023 to 2028 to establish livable communities is the creation of a database containing a complete inventory of idle government lands. The Coordinating Council will be co-chaired by the heads of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR, and the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, or DHSUD, as co-chairpersons, while the Department of Agriculture, or DA, will serve as vice chair. Members of the Coordinating Council are the Office of the Executive Secretary, Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG, the DA, Office of the Solicitor General or OSG, Department of Justice or DOJ, Land Registration Authority or LRA, Commission on Higher Education or CHED, and the Department of Information and Communications Technology or DICT. The DENR Land Management Bureau or LMB will serve as the Secretariat of the Coordinating Council. All government offices are tasked to submit to the body their respective land inventories for consolidation. Meanwhile, the Coordinating Council is tasked to submit to the President within 180 days from the effectivity of the implementing guidelines of AO 21, a digital master list of all government lands. The AO 21 shall take effect immediately upon its publication in the Official Gazette or a newspaper of general circulation.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. ordered the streamlining of issuing permits for the government's infrastructure flagship projects or IFPs in order to speed up its implementation. In a 4-page Executive Order number 59, signed by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin on April 30th on behalf of the President, President Marcos underscored the importance to expand and update infrastructures in the country to achieve economic transformation. Currently, there are 185 IFPs approved by the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA. The EO covers all national government agencies, government-owned or controlled corporations or GOCCs, and local government units or LGUs that is involved in the issuance of licenses, clearances, permits, certifications, or authorizations required for approved list of IFPs. In relation to this, the Chief Executive wants to simplify the requirements of IFPs and its processes. EO 59 takes effect immediately upon publication in the Official Gazette or in a newspaper of general circulation.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has ordered changes in the first and second level career positions of the Office of the President or OP Human Resource Merit Promotion and Selection Board. Under Memorandum Order or MO number 24, signed by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin on May 2nd on behalf of the President, the Deputy Executive Secretary for Finance and Administration will serve as the chairman of the OP Human Resource Merit Promotion and Selection Board, and the Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs will serve as vice chair. Members will include the Deputy Executive Secretary for General Administration, Deputy Executive Secretary for Support Services and Auxiliaries, 2 representatives from the Office of the Executive Secretary, as well as the head of the Human Resource Management Office. Besides this, a representative from the OP's Employees Network will also serve as members for the first level and second level positions. Among the directives of the EO is the creation of the OP Program on Awards and Incentives for Service Excellence Committee.
Dateline Malacañang.
Newly designated Philippine Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Magpayo and 25 other presidential appointees will undergo grilling by the Congressional Commission on Appointments or CA this month. In a news release on Sunday, Surigao del Sur Representative Johnny Pimentel said, Congress already has Secretary Magpayo's appointment papers from Malacañang, together with the promotion papers of 8 military generals and 17 career diplomats. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. appointed Magpayo as Secretary of the Department of Migrant Workers or DMW on April 25th. Magpayo previously served as DMW Officer in Charge for 7 months. Pimentel said he expects Magpayo and the other appointees to be vetted by the CA before Congress adjourns on May 25th. In March, the CA bypassed an Army colonel's promotion to Brigadier General following the strong opposition by his estranged wife on the grounds of alleged physical abuse, adultery, and neglect in providing financial support to their children. The Constitution empowers the 25-member CA to scrutinize the competence, fitness, and integrity of key presidential appointees and to approve or reject them. The CA is composed of 12 members each from the House of Representatives and the Senate, with the Senate President as ex officio presiding officer. Pimentel named the military generals awaiting CA confirmation of their promotions as follows: Lieutenant General Fernando Reyeg, Armed Forces Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations; Air Force Major General Pablo Rustria Jr., Commander of Air Installation and Base Development Command; Air Force Brigadier General Genaro Menor, Deputy Wing Commander of Tactical Operations, Wing, Eastern Mindanao; Marine Brigadier General Gregorio Hernandez Jr., Commander of Combat Support Brigade; Army Brigadier General Romulus Joseph Cañezo, Chief of the Unified Command Staff of the Northern Luzon Command; Commodore Felipe Bautista; Commodore Diosdado Caluya Jr., and Commodore Vincent Cibala. Meanwhile, the new batch of career diplomats awaiting their confirmation hearings is led by Ambassadors Paul Raymond Cortez and Celeste Vincent Balatbat, who were both promoted to the rank of Chief of Mission 1. Cortez and Vincent Balatbat are the country's sitting ambassadors to Portugal and Chile, respectively.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine Department of National Defense or DND Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. on Sunday said China's latest statement to justify its illegal presence in the West Philippine Sea or WPS is a charade and only aims to divide Filipinos over the issue. Secretary Teodoro issued the statement to generate awareness on this clear attempt by China to advance another falsehood in order to divide our people and distract us from their unlawful presence and actions in our exclusive economic zone or EEZ. The Chinese embassy in Manila on Saturday claimed that the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP Western Command or WESCOM made repeated confirmations that the new model for the handling of raising tensions in the WPS have been approved by key Philippine government officials, including Teodoro and National Security Advisor Eduardo Año. China also claimed that it has records of communication and negotiation on this matter and that it has nothing to do with the sovereign positions of the two countries. The DND Secretary said that any insinuation that the DND is a party to any new model is a devious, machination of China through their embassy in Manila, and it is curious that it comes right after their actions were condemned in the recent Squad meeting in Honolulu, Hawaii. Teodoro, United States Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin III, Japanese Minister of Defense Kihara Minoru, and Australian Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defense Richard Marles met at the Indo-Pacific Command Headquarters in Honolulu, Hawaii on May 2nd. The four ministers strongly objected to the dangerous use of China Coast Guard and militia vessels and are seriously concerned over the ongoing situation in the East and South China Sea. Teodoro reiterated that he had disallowed any contact between the DND and the Chinese embassy since the courtesy call of Ambassador Huang Xilian a few days after he assumed office in July last year. He reminded all Filipino citizens, the media, and the international community to beware of China's methods of manipulation, interference, and malign influence in furthering its own interests. Año meanwhile said the Chinese embassy's latest version of the new model arrangement is absolutely absurd, ludicrous, and preposterous. He said no one in the Philippine government is, nor have been, empowered, nor authorized to enter into or commit to any sort of agreement, understanding, or arrangement, more so informal ones, by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Anyo emphasized that no principals or officials from the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea have consented nor committed to any proposal that will compromise national interests. The country's security advisor reminded the Chinese embassy that it can never deceive the Filipino people with their fabricated stories, bluffs, and fake exchanges of communication just to support China's illegal claim of Philippine territory and its aggressive actions against Filipino ships and their crews going about their lawful business in the WPS. The bigger story that the embassy wants to avoid, according to Anyo, is the piling of dead coral rubble in Pag-asa Case 1, 2, and 3, which is meant to create a high-tide, man-made geologic feature between Pag-asa Island and Subi Reef. He said it is an attempt to reverse the findings of the 2016 arbitral ruling, which sided with the Philippines' territorial claims in the WPS. Anyo bared that the Chinese embassy created a chat group with select members of the media to manipulate the information environment. He said the entire arrangement story is clearly fake news and disinformation, and it will be the last time he will ever comment on the issue.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, with the help of the Philippines Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, and the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA in Region 3, the remains of the Overseas Filipino Worker, or OFW, who died in the flooding at the United Arab Emirates, or UAE, is already with her family. The remains of Jenny Gamboa arrived on Saturday. She is one of 3 OFWs who died in UAE due to massive flooding in April. According to reports, the OFW died inside a shuttle van she was riding during the onslaught of the flood, along with another Filipina who also died in the incident. The remains of the 2 other OFWs who died during the flooding are already in the country. Meanwhile, the DMW also extended its assistance to the Filipino couple who were injured in Hong Kong after a soil erosion due to heavy rains. In a statement, the DMW said the Filipino couple both worked at a resort in Sai Kung who were just taking videos and pictures of the damage sustained by their workplace due to the rains when the landslide occurred. The Filipina sustained wounds on her head and is currently under observation at a hospital. She is in safe condition while her husband sustained deep wounds on his leg and needs operation. In coordination with the OWA, the Migrant Workers Office in Hong Kong extended financial assistance to the couple for their medical needs. The DMW is closely monitoring the situation of OFWs working in Hong Kong.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.